Hold up. We just, there you go.
No one can have this, Dante. It's mine. It belongs to a son of Sparta.
Oh, this one, I found it.
Give that to me.
Well, I want yours too.
Yours too.
Stop. Please stop. Fuck. The Among Us Happy Meal.
Fair warning, this video regards a horror game, and it will feature some creepy sounds. It will not contain any jump scares though.
No way. You got your own.
Well, I want yours
You
too.
want yours too. Yours too.
Hey, Virgil! Your portal opening days are
This
over.
is best experienced through headphones.
If you want it, then you'll have to.
Hello, and welcome. This educational video is designed to show you how a horror game and its soundscape can intensify each other. Any other effects this video imparts are beyond the liability of the master entertainment.
You're not ready.
From any malfunctioning equipment in my business establishment.
Go wacky.
Rest assured,
No but it is bogus, right?
Oh, anything you want.
Go wacky.
What?
Item shop.
certainly not
Bad.
Okay. I have 700.
Ayman literally sent it in the group.
video will only be covering
Ask Ikmal. Anything you want.
sister location and pizzeria simulator. But it should be noted that sound intensity occurs in all horror games. In fact, it occurs everywhere. There is no escape from its games. And without further ado, let's hand it off to our guide who's ready to deliver a concise review of sound intensity in the aforementioned games, if they wish to ward off the animatronics approaching the studio. Wait, that wasn't in rehearsal. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. And from all of us at Fazbear Entertainment, good luck. What? Approaching the studio? Okay. I'm Scruffy, and today we gotta get right into it. Sound intensity. It's a very subjective concept about how much tension a sound raises. It's not as quantifiable as sound volume, nor even as agreed upon as sound velocity, which is the rough amount of force with which something is activated to create a sound. Though generally speaking, louder, more forceful sounds are more likely to be intense. But there are also cases where softer sounds can be intense. For instance, someone yelling into a pillow. It's also intense, perhaps because the sound raises questions. Where's that yelling coming from? Who's yelling? Why is it muffled? Or sounds can become intense by association, which means each person can find different sounds intense. But there are sometimes popular sounds like... that a great deal of people have come to associate with rising tension for a sudden jump. And it's precisely this sort of stress that can be exploited in a horror game to make the player feel more uneasy. So let me share some examples that this handful of FNAF games do well. These aren't exclusive examples, they're done well in other horror games that I'll want to talk about later. And there's no story spoilers here, but it'd be good to know the gist of gameplay experience as we go through each game. So, let's begin with FNAF 2, Unknown Drones. Sounds are easily intense when we don't know what their source is. Whether we can't locate the sound or we haven't heard that kind of sound before. F2 gets pretty intense already just through pure gameplay. But in the slower moments of the game where you have little to no control, a slew of untraceable sounds intensify the experience. If any animatronics are in your office primed to attack you, you get this TV static in your ears. Where is that coming from? The puppet's music box isn't kept wound, and it escapes and is set to attack you. You literally hear the Jack-in-the-Box jingle anywhere you look. How is it doing it? You can even
That
confirm
fucking
the
music
location
box.
of one
No!
animatronic angle by the
I have
radio
nightmares from
static
that
it's
game.
constantly emitting.
When I
Sure,
was a kid.
why does it have to make such a
Connected.
garbled, incongruous sound?
Oh,
That fucking bitch balloon boy. It was almost 6 AM too, but that fucker had to steal my flashlight and fucking jump out of nowhere on the fucking front.
stealing your batteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that fucking laugh. That fucking laugh.
Sweet succulent batteries.
Yes, I'll take this and maybe he'll be happy. That's why I was wrong.
I don't know what's making that collection of sounds. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know whether they're real or hallucinatory. While I'm playing, my guess is as good as yours. That is effective sound intensity. Now, a related case of unknown sound is when we do recognize the sound, and it's indicating something that we haven't or can't immediately confirm. This is why alarms are intense. When we hear an alarm before confirming that time has passed, when we hear an alarm before we know that there's smoke in the room, or that a car has been jacked, or that a message is so important that all televisions need to broadcast it simultaneously. Alarms earn their intensity by association, which is why this alarm becomes intense in FNAF 2 initially. It indicates that an animatronic is in the fence, and you probably hear it before you... Yep, there they are. We need to move on. FNAF 3. Context is everything. So, this sequel generally scales things back from FNAF 2. You're now only dealing with one real animatronic instead of at least 10. And though the sound design follows in the footsteps of FNAF 2, I'd argue the intensity is a bit scaled back as well. You have some alarm sounds that definitely raise questions the first time you hear them, and there's another cool between-night interactive cutscene where you can explore an Atari-esque rendering of Pizzeria, once again playing as Freddy and the gang, but with more incongruous audio of thunder and strange, quiet rustling. But again, I'd argue it's not as immediately intense. This game's a little more reserved about creating auditory stress. And there's an interesting shared sound effect between it and FNAF 2. This is actually an example of de-intensifying the sound. So, back in FNAF 2, we have one animatronic, Balloon Boy, who will eventually try and get into your office to sap your flashlight power. Pretty sure we're seeing it right now. It comes with little utterances like these. And that's really off-putting initially. Your voice is only coming from somewhere. Yet, over to FNAF 3, now these Balloon Boy sounds are actually in your tool set to help you. You can play these sounds in a specific room, and the animatronic you're warding off, Springtrap, will get coaxed to go there, thinking there's someone in there. It's one way to keep Springtrap away from your office. And by all means, this was just a game dev decision. It's easier to reuse sounds from the previous title.
Bata playing Bastion?
Yes, I wanna get golden gun. I need to practice.
Excuse me. Come here.
Let me just lay down a bit. I'll give Boston tips. I don't know how to play him.
Recon. Just, please. Recon mode.
From Boston is a state in the United States.
Body block! Body block!
Body block, body block.
Assalamualaikum.
Protect private passion.
I won't shoot.
Damage the bastard. To make the bird. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ah!
Shit, he died.
Yeah. Get to the point, bitch. Oh, right, that's dead.
Why are you using Genji anyway? Huh? Oh.
Could I be the green ninja?
I want to try being Genji, man. Fire at me, fire at me. Ah, you smart. What?
So I'll take this. In fact, thank you all.
6 can play that game. 6 can play that game.
Although,
Take a shot.
guys, my passion crosshair is blue.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna speed into them.
Who the fuck are you?
Get that coronavirus.
Maria. Ah, tolong. Maria.
Pretend to go here, Becca. Pretend to go here. Pretend, and then we go back. We U-turn. Yeah, get fucked. Juke. Let's go. Omega Jukums. Ah! Well, it kinda worked.
Yeah, kinda work.
Ah! Kind of.
We don't have a we don't have a second tank.
Time to save the day, die.
I'm sorry.
Time to save the day, die.
Let's go. 2 elims is go. Fucking hell, Widow. Go.
I got 2 limbs too.
Of one. Where's that Roadhog?
Yep, I coming.
I'm scared of
Yeah.
you.
We didn't even say she's. You said sheen. That is she.
How did I get hit?
Bodoh,
I'm a savior. Oh, right. It's so good to hit at my
Man, go in that fucking corner, bitch.
No, you pushed them away from me. No, you pushed them away from the right tank crown.
My bad, dude. My bad. I'll be win at least.
Merry Christmas.
Sup, retards? I'm here.
He's already in the point. What?
I'm out. Little bitch.
It's okay, Vista. You'll get used to the Genjis going after you in every match. You'll get used to it.
Oh, finally a second tank. I mean a third tank.
Tidur aku, bos!
Go, Ayaman, go. Go, Ayaman.
Gamer,
go.
Ayman, gamer.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
God, I enter the server.
That Reinhardt really went slash game mode creative.
Look at this guy. Look at this Genji. He's so good. I should go.
Parkour up there. Parkour on that roof when I'm shooting. Parkour there. Parkour there. I'll protect. Go. Come on, it's not that hard.
Get up there, and I'm there.
No, it's not.
You are sus, man.
Well, I'm dead.
Basic jump.
You are being sus right now.
Oh no,
I can't do it.
Vista's being sus again.
Not, I'm gonna play Bastion on defense. Right now they're making me mad. Or sleeper.
Sup, kid? No! Oh! Brigitte, you bitch!
Wagadigi wo. Kurao.
Yuga waga teki wo. Rames.
Yuga, wagateki wo.
Assassination! Wah! Back!
I'm about to do the master flank.
Back off!
Master flank.
God, take it, dog!
Fuck away from me! Who are you? Foolish! Foolishness! Parkour! Parkour! Wow! Whoa! Wow!
He died. Nothing to do.
You killed my roadhog! The Aether Vengeance, come!
Mercy.
See how fast Lucio can go in a couple of minutes.
I fucking know. I fucking know. In every ounce in my body, I fucking know.
With every cell of my body.
Well, you don't know anymore.
Every cell
Dead
of
now. You don't know.
Damn nigga, you do.
Alright, I'll just activate multi-man and go haywire.
Bro, I'm just gonna like fucking brains. What the fuck?
Ah, suck it, boss!
Why? Always me! I'm always anti nigga!
Because you were fat, nigga.
Just go, Emma, just go! Go off! Mercy, Ren.
Your savior is dead. Oh, your savior is dead.
Your savior.
Over by a
I
train.
can do it! I can do it! I can beat the world side of fuck!
Diva, you dog slut. Diva, you dog.
Rita, you stupid fucking shithead.
Huh?
Doink.
What the fuck did you do?
Look at me get charged. Look at me get charged.
My bitches. My bitches running.
Damn, no one got a card.
But by recontextualizing them, these sounds are no longer hints. They are positive feedback for your actions, and we now know exactly where the sound is coming from and why. Now, it would be more intense not to hear them when you press this button. So, oh dear. While I reboot this, let's move on to food tastes stronger when you're hungry. Strange subtitle, I know, but in the same way that taste is intensified when we perceive a variety of food, hearing gets intensified when we perceive language. That horror takes place in a child's bedroom at night, and while it's never silent in there, it is remarkably quieter than the previous games in the series. There's a fan in this room, unlike the previous games, and it's running. You have some low, ominous droning, some grandfather clock chimes in the distance, and the sound you're told to listen for. Yes, if you hear breathing when you check a door, you are to close it to stop the animatronic from attacking you right there. Breathing is quiet. The breathing that indicates an animatronic is inches away rises only a little above the ambient noise of the room. And so, in a playthrough of FNAF 4, you have to parse sounds very granularly. Your ear is searching for small differences in volume, which makes any difference in volume become more intense. And might I add, that's only when you're checking the doors. In other parts of the room, there are different non-audio mechanisms for warding off animatronics. Not to mention, this setting has some of the lowest light so far in the series, so you clamor for visual information as well. In my previous video about Five Nights at Freddy's, I referred to this as absence of information. When the player knows that something's being withheld from them. It's not exactly withheld information, it's just faint information that takes focus to absorb and corroborate into a plan. And with so many tasks to juggle, focusing on minuscule sounds and details is intense, stressful even. Oh, I heard that. We should move along to FNAF sister location, narrative dissonance. First of all, this game is a smorgasbord of everything we've talked about so far. You have weird, unknown sounds all over the place. You have some sounds that would be intense, except that they're given into your control, and thus you miss them when they aren't present. And you have one environment, the Ballora Gallery, in which you must traverse a pitch-black room while listening out for a quiet ballerina music box, indicating that the animatronic Ballora is nearby. So, with all of that present, I wanted to touch on something a little different in this game since it's so focused
Okay,
on narrative.
who has shit themselves during that level? When you see her passing over in front of you, man.
Nope.
Map 4 was the first in the series with no vocal narrator. Before that, Scott Cawthon himself was reading voice clips over the phone in every game. But in Sister Location, you have two new AI narrators who guide you through the game, telling you your next tasks and how to perform them. And perhaps their literal narration experiences some glitches here and there, but a more postmodern way to intensify this narration is to add narrative dissonance, where what is being narrated does not match what is happening in the story. There's some great exchanges where the hand unit narrator will have you check for the animatronic circus baby using a light. And even though she isn't on her stage, the narrator believes she is, and events continue. Rather than a specific sound, it's language this time that makes you aware that things aren't as they seem, and thus the general arc of the game is more intense. There's later a moment where Circus Baby will start talking to you, and she will say things in direct conflict with the previous narrator's instructions. Again, when the game raises more and more unconfirmable questions this way, the whole experience becomes more intense. This game was also significant in the series for having an original soundtrack rather than using stock music, and the game's composer, Leon Riskin, worked some narrative dissonance into the music. Most of the time you spend playing has no music, and some of the most dramatic or plot-heavy moments will play some deep themes. But the endpoints of each night are announced by contrastingly meaningful jingles, with cheery elevator music at the beginning, and a theme at the end of the night that sounds straight out of an 80s VHS. This game certainly flares its sense of humor when there's room for a break from intensity. I find it fascinating that even this humor can raise more concerns than it satisfies. There's one great moment in the game where the literal sound of this dark comedy suddenly spikes the moment's intensity. You're quietly making your way through the Ballora Gallery, your ears are primed to the low noise floor, attentive for any distant music, when suddenly the hand unit narrator chimes in at full volume, telling you to hurry up. Not a jump scare in the traditional sense, but it is a type of sound intensity that is highlighted in the next FNAF title, FNAF Pizzeria Simulator, Player Noise. We can do this. So after you design your own pizzeria in this game, you have to survive, performing some menial maintenance tasks like ordering pizzeria supplies and printing posters, while any malicious animatronic decide to track you down with the vents on either side of you. A lot of variables affect your ability to make it through this, but one thing's for sure, you are loud when you're trying to be quiet. It's kind of flipping the script of FNAF 4. Now, in addition to listening out for the once again minuscule sounds and voice clips that alert you to nearby animatronics, you have to do tasks like printing on the world's noisiest printer, and keep your office cool using a droning fan. Or maybe you had your pizzeria sponsored by a third-party company, and their ad blares on your computer all of a sudden. Those sounds attract animatronics and make it more difficult to hear the sounds you're really wary for. And even worse, there isn't a clock-out time. You can only leave when all of these boisterous tasks are complete. So this game especially feels like flirting with death. It's further exploiting how we perceive things when we're instructed to stay quiet. Every noise against that quiet state is intensified, especially when those noises are our fault, that we can trace to ourselves. So even a sound that might not usually be that intense, like appliances humming, starts to become a stressor in this context. That's the thing about sound intensity. It depends heavily on context for how much our minds were previously instructed to perceive sounds, and how much we know about the source and the meaning of the sound. But these were some of the ways that FNAF series flavored its gameplay to make less complex scenarios still stressful, and perhaps to make jump scares feel like they pop off a tense buildup rather than coming out of nowhere. And I have no doubt the FNAF devs and the growing community are not done with cooking up these intense experiences.
Damn, he did.
But
he died.
One last thing
What about that game?
There was a point, starting at FNAF 4, where the games approached relying on these quiet sound cues to progress. It's plausible to make it through the base games without listening to sound
Baik.
cues, but some of the late game
What?
challenges, especially the custom night games, have
People are
sister
mad
location.
that
Become
Bucky from
essentially
the Technical
impossible
Soldier is not
to
bi
replace.
for some reason.
Again?
People are mad that Bucky are not bi.
Ah.
Even the producer or the stated, it's not meant to be bi.
Wait, what?
It's just good,
What?
but people don't like that.
People
Bisexual.
are mad that James Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, is not bisexual.
Huh?
I mean, who
Yeah,
wants
they
to fuck a
like
bike?
Oh, bike sex. Oh, I get it.
Ah, yeah. I get it. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
The jokester.
Jokester.
Bye, have a great time. The rest I continue the video.
Left very well up the block without attentive listening. And that's a problem if you don't have access to sound, such as people who are deaf or hard of hearing, or even just people without a speaker or headphone setup. It's just worth noting that when working on a horror game, an achievable win condition, it behooves us to make sure it can be accomplished without the sound, just as FNAF 4 can be completed without the visuals. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. Done. Closing time. I'm safe. I hope this video gave you some ideas about ways that sound intensity can work to your advantage if you make games, or to your horror if you're placed in the middle of that. I'd like to thank my friends Wolfgang and Aina Schwarzenegger for helping out with this script.
What the fuck? He said that perfectly.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank my friends Wolfgang and Aina Schwarzenegger for helping out with this script.
Holy shit.
I also want to thank my patrons on Patreon.
Dude's cracked. Dude's cracked in the day fucking voicing. I think he has one more for that video. He just.
Fair warning. Following video regards a horror game, and it will feature some jump scare sounds and overall creepiness.
Hello. I'm Scruffy, and today we'll be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that has shaken up the genre and become a worldwide phenomenon, starting from a single developer with a small budget. And in light of that developer, Scott Cawthon, supporting developers of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games, and also because Halloween is coming up soon, I'd like to take an analytical look at the ways sound has made this game so compelling and spooky. I'll only be touching on the first game for now, and I won't be addressing the lore of the game much since there are still so many mysteries about it. Now, it's been plenty established that Five Nights at Freddy's is, or was, frightening, if you haven't played it before. And small wonder, it capitalizes on a broad discomfort with animatronics, robots that fall right in the uncanny valley. Too humanoid to be a cartoon, but moving too mechanically to pass for something living. But even more than that, you are trapped in a single spot, the security office of a pizzeria. While these animatronics not only move where they aren't supposed to, while you aren't looking, but are coming for you specifically. It is a nightmare scenario, built off of two pillars. The absence of information, which prevents planning, and the absence of action, the inability to fight or flee. Now, if this were actually a nightmare, those two would perpetuate until we wake up in a cold sweat. But since this is a game, and there is a win condition, some of these pillars have to be sacrificed to allow the player to have to think under pressure and win over their stress. And this is where developers like Scott turn to visual signals and audio clues to dole out some control. I say clues because while a map of the pizzeria and camera feeds of the animatronics are clearly helpful visuals, it's more complicated when it comes to audio. Some audio works to your advantage, giving you information, and some audio works against you, muddying information, creating unknowns, and even contributing to the absence of action feeling. Let's break down each of these, starting with the advantageous audio. That is, any audio that helps you form a plan and figure out how to survive. In a scenario with absence of action, you are desperate for information like this. Although at first, nothing you hear seems advantageous. It all starts out unknown, which is yet more stressful. It's only after you spend some time in this environment and listen for patterns that you start to pick up where advantages lie. and the sound files of FNAF confirm this line of thinking. For instance, there are 4 different sounds for pots, pans, and oven doors clanging about. Must be important, especially when you can hear these sounds even without using the camera system. Initially, this sound is a stressor, but eventually you can pick up that the sound is louder when you look at the kitchen camera, which only has an audio feed. And then you pick up that Chica, the chicken animatronic, is nowhere else to be found. So all along, this sound was actually trying to help you understand that Chica is currently in the kitchen. And going forward, you can determine that without using the camera, saving you some power. Not every advantage in the game has an audio clue, but the ones that do are well designed. Another one you'll hear is Freddy's voice whenever he moves into a new room. There are 3 versions of this sound. Again, this can be heard on camera or off, so initially it sounds like some otherworldly threat is just laughing at you. But eventually, with enough camera usage, you can tie Freddy's movements to his laughter. In fact, Freddy's difficult to see on camera, and you've got to conserve power anyway, so for some players, it could be easier to count the times Freddy laughs to indicate how close he is to the office. The audio may be unnerving, but since it forms a pattern in an otherwise unpredictable environment, it's advantageous. Now, there's other audio that forms patterns but doesn't give you an advantage.
Oh, lad, we are in the
Oh, we're in the
land
game? Let's go! Finally!
Oh, we're in defend. I mean, attack.
Jävlar!
Jävlar. You being rude to me, man.
I'm a good Vesta Passion skin.
Fuck's the oh.
Epic, man.
Yo, imagine you do something wrong and you get to the fucking jail. But instead of putting you to jail, they say the magic code will be there and then the magic code you will vanish to the void realm.
In the shadow realm?
No, it's a void realm. It's basically endless darkness. Yeah, basically.
You guys have a helicopter?
So...
Some say the void realm take you to the jail.
Look at this.
I see that, Mister. Now come on, Billy.
No.
I mean,
What the
Billy.
fuck is that?
Oh, the void realm. You mean the ninth? The clubhouse. The ninth. Guest house.
Yeah.
Ah, you ain't got nowhere.
Shoot behind.
I know. I'm aware.
Half health.
Spider monkey. Cyber ninja. I don't know. Pushing all alone lah, bodoh.
Oh my god, he
Holy
went
shit,
flying.
Mister. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna fight these monkeys.
Bro! Brother, heal me up, bro. Come on, bro. I can't do everything by myself.
Mister, back up, Mister, back up. Don't go turn it, don't.
Tifu Fun. The guy's called Tifu Fun. Pro Genji.
Oh my goodness.
You're a pro Genji?
Pro Genji.
Pro Genji, up.
Pro Genji.
This Lucio doesn't even know how to play Lucio. Wow. That's not good. Slugoma. Lick my balls. So sad.
Criminal.
Steve Jobs by himself to lick me.
The fucking
Real
job.
Steve Jobs.
Lick my balls.
Can I take it to Diva?
Okay,
The turret. I mean, smack.
never mind, I got the wrong person.
Ooh, cat girl. Ooh, where's the guy?
On the right.
I missed my hook. Yes, I got fucked.
Wait, what?
Reinhardt, shield up! Reinhardt, shield up! Reinhardt!
Goodness.
Reinhardt has 0 brain cells, dude.
Ryan.
Bro, seriously, why do you smurf? One easy game, go have skill lah. Yeah, we don't have skill. Go do beach.
Criminal. No.
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Rocket jump very fast.
Ayo, budak ni. Rocket jump cannot. Ayo.
Bro, it's my decision of rocket jumping or not.
Fuck this. Guys,
Yes. Uchi dagger turret. Body block. Nani ya? Too shy.
Why did he do that?
Oh, that's why.
That was so late.
Bro, I'ma just walk to my spawn real quick, bro. I'ma just.
I'ma just walk.
Bro, I'ma just.
Why did you rest?
Don't rest. Oh my god. You know, guys, there's another entrance.
Yo, mama.
Damn Genji, I was reloading.
No, I'ma just walk right here, bro.
Yeah, same. I'm just walk right.
Yo, on my mind. Gonna head to God. Yeah, I'ma just walk right here.
He's dead.
What you going, bitch?
Walk to spawn, Lamau.
I make
Walk
that.
to spawn, Lamau.
Alright, I've had enough. Reinhardt, go! Aduh, ayo kita silap.
Sangat bodoh ini budak.
Aduh.
Is that Genji behind?
It's all Genji behind.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
I'll be on the lookout. Oh, never mind.
Oh, there you go.
There he is.
Sleep, baby.
What the?
Why you certified bodoh?
Gravity squeeze!
3. I will survive it. I will survive it. I will not survive it. I might survive it.
Lol, teammate saya.
I survived it.
Wait, it's so long. The fuck, bro? Dia gaji ni. What you want? If you want rice, just tell me lah. God damn, man.
Genji kamu dead!
No. Come on, Genji. If you need rice, just tell me, nigga. I can make you nasi ayam goreng right now. Jeez, man.
Mika, I just healing
Genji,
myself.
what's your problem too?
Huge!
Mika, I just walking fast. If you want Genji, you suck. Come here, Genji.
Reinhardt, please.
Come here, Genji.
Reinhardt, do something for the team. Oh
Wait,
my
guys.
god, how do you have 4 stars? Higher level 400.
How are you dense?
How is a human being this dense?
Dude.
Criminal.
Are they all
How did I
there?
use that hook? I do not understand. Black man behind.
Genji behind. Terkadang on my mind. Why did the dome bag? Why? Why? Doomfish teabag.
Alright.
Doomfish teabag. No, nigga, don't run! No! What the fuck? Nigga, please!
I don't know what we want to get.
Oh wow, apakah ini?
Why did you pop? Why did you pop that? Why would you pop? Oh,
What the fuck did we cap it? What the fuck?
because I went Genji. I hear a Doomfish behind.
Reinhardt, please! Thank you!
Why are these dense?
And I'm dead.
Oh no, scary. What am I going to do?
Bobby,
I
at my
definitely do not have
kilos.
deep like.
What the fuck is our team?
Mercy, Reinhardt. Why? Why you guys do this?
Fuck!
You guys have zero brain cells.
These dudes are more useless than a blind deaf cat. How the fuck?
Oh, what am I going to do? Guys, payload.
Let me kill the blood, thank you.
Let me kill the blood. I hate the Genji, man.
Frog. Frogger.
Let everyone target them.
Frogger. Finally, Reinhardt did something with his life. This is the life.
Ashkula shkashla. What did they just say just
Muhammad
now?
got boofed. The green ninja.
Let's go.
I went Genji. Genji behind.
Your tears.
Fuck.
What did this guy do? Oh yeah, I killed all of us. No. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this.
I did not hit a wall. How did I die by that? This is bullshit. Bullshit lah,
Look how the Mercy started throwing last 60 seconds. Fucking pulls out the pistol.
Da.
Nah.
Da. So why you think I'm a red comrade?
Criminal.
Criminal.
Feeling when an animatronic you're watching suddenly moves. There's the sound of Foxy running down the hall to indicate you have a very limited window of time to save yourself. And the sound of him banging on the door. These sounds are consistent with their actions, but the player never really picks up help from them. They're mainly to immerse you more in the environment. And you'll notice most of them are diegetic. That is, most of them are sounds that the in-game world would be making. There is one sound that doesn't seem diegetic, however, and that's an audio stinger when Chica or Bonnie appear right in your doorway. That sound is not manufactured by a camera or machinery, and I don't think it's meant to come from Bonnie or Chica. It's more of a classic horror music cue that makes you jump a little more at something sudden. A stinger. In fact, I think it's extended technique on a string instrument slowed down 100%. Here it is sped up. I'm not sure about that. The little sounds at the very end remind me of handling a violin, but suffice it to say, it is non-diegetic music rather than an in-game sound. These sounds don't help or harm you, they just make the world more real, direct, and intense. And now, we get to audio that's special for a horror game. Audio that's actively trying to scare you, or even working against the information and actions you have. Let's unpack the different ways audio can deter you from beating this nightmare. First, we have what I'm calling muddied information. Audio that isn't clear or that blocks other audio signals. For instance, the cameras make haphazard static noises when they experience interference, or when you can hear one panning back and forth. The little bit of audio coming from camera feed is also garbled. You know, it's put through a couple of audio filters to simulate a poor transmission of sound energy. So all in all, you hear very little straight from the source. Plus, there are other sounds getting in the way. The loudest distraction by design is the fan in your office. This remains on for the entire night, buzzing incessantly. And here, let me clarify something. I mentioned in a previous video about Animal Crossing New Horizons that having some non-zero sound ambiance actually makes an environment calmer than one with total silence. However, if that ambiance is loud enough that it's harder to pick up audio patterns that matter more, it can become stressful all over again. The fan does quiet down when you're focusing on the camera, but that's using up power. So there's definitely an exchange of sacrifices between you and the game here. The more information you are allowed, the more power you use up. And the more you conserve your power, the more information is obfuscated behind filters, distance, and noise. And then here is the truly tedious part. Hidden beneath the noise of that blaring desk fan are not only the sounds that impart information, but other sounds that don't, and are either meant to confuse you or just scare you more. Sounds like this strange swirling noise. Doesn't really signify anything other than a creepy atmosphere that can't be identified. Same with these even subtler noises.
Zeg maar.
Ah, yes. Oh yeah, Gnome King theme. You're real stupid.
Let's go, Mafia.
Welcome to Mafia Town, motherfucker.
Run the tank. I'll give Bastion another chance.
Hey, it's that cocky diva from last match.
Ah.
It's just sometimes there, conveying some vaguely metallic sound far in the distance. Other red herrings have been more specifically in the location of the fusion. Sometimes you'll hear this room recording of a pipe organ, internally called circus. Arcade, although it's juxtaposed with which is not. And once again,
Yeah, I should really go run.
No, why is Messi?
Smashing!
Smash your ball. Okay.
Smash your balls and he's fucking
Really
dead.
cool game this time. It's cool game Really complex, really good game.
Let me get the soul drop top. I'll get it myself.
Come here, come
Ah, yeah,
here.
go suicide. I think I'm dumb, Tracer. I don't stay in recon. I mean, I stay in turret though. I'm about to.
Good job, Vesta Gamering. Good job, Eman Gamering.
Ah, yeah, go
Go to the
suicide.
water, you fool.
I would rather die than die by your hand.
Dev is better than
Ah,
bondage.
look at me. I play pirate. Tan, tan,
Oh.
tan,
Where
tan, tan,
where
tan.
was that sentence taken from?
Look at me. I play pirate.
There's a tracer now.
There's always been a tracer.
Yeah.
Penetrator.
I never see that.
She was undercooked for you.
Ah.
She killed herself!
Ah.
She tried to pull bomb me.
Boy, your Ebo got nothing on original skill.
Sorry, master. Sorry, brother.
Sorry, fellow Omnic.
No, it's almost got two. Yo, medic. No, he got two.
He's so low. Yo, why are you being aiming so fast? Yo, I'm the
Up.
Holy.
Huge slam, except it's not.
Good job, Vesta. Good job. You're making me proud, my boy.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it. I was like, why did the payload stop moving?
Come on,
Why did the halo
Come on,
stop
let's go.
moving?
Let's go. Let's go. The only fastest one around here is fucking Lucio.
All the four of us are on fire.
Oh, it's okay, cool.
Okay, go on.
It's fine. At least I get my smashing line.
I'm stuck. It's a wall.
Nothing new I heard Doomfist.
Yeah, it's on right side.
I got you in a
I
what?
got you in my...
Pow! I want to punch.
Oh! Gets powered up last minute.
Only the good players on fire.
Oh, that's okay. Wow.
Let's go!
Let's go, Vista.
Soon that thing will be gold.
Soon PM.
Then
I
should
failed
get
my
Genji
rocket
then.
jumps. No one. We're not gonna talk about that. Let's go, Ikmal.
Shit.
See, 6 recon kills.
I told you Recon is good.
Recon is the one with no
No
fucking-
turret.
There's no
You run
turret.
around. You walk.
Ten.
Real information, it's just getting you that much more stressed. Same with the song Foxy will occasionally sing, internally called Pirate Song 2. You can hear both that and Circus anywhere in the game, and this one specifically can be traced to Foxy's stage, but it doesn't signal anything about Foxy's erratic behavior. It's misleading clues mixed in with the legitimate ones. One more misleading, interestingly,
begins as a legitimate one. At the start of each night, you receive a previously recorded phone call from another employee, who has been dubbed Phone Guy. His call on the first night sets the scene, tells you how you're in danger, and what actions you have to keep animatronics at bay. He keeps things vague, partly because he doesn't know all there is to know about animatronics, and partly because he's skating around the suggestion of mortal peril to try and keep you from quitting. But as the nights progress, you realize that the animatronics will start moving even while this call goes on, and the call itself gives you less and less advantageous information after night one. Instead, Phone Guy sometimes opts to deepen the lore of the game, and sometimes gives you suggestions that aren't actually helpful. For example, during night 3, he advises the player to sit still and try and play dead once Freddy is outside the office. Yet, doing so actually has no effect. These phone calls become serious red herrings. They directly speak distracting information to you, and the sound of the phone call interrupts other important sounds, like Freddy laughing. What initially seems like your only lifeline in this scenario has become yet another problem. Now, the last category of detrimental audio isn't necessarily messing with your ability to parse other sounds. These are sound effects that make you feel like you're dealing with a supernatural threat.
No
What in the
one
world?
shoots like gas.
Category because
The
they're
fuck?
themselves graphic horror game sounds.
Hold on.
Slightest hint of
Get stormed and gunned down like Gaston.
corrupted
The fuck?
It's
Stan
there's
champion like Gaston.
Gaston's in fucking Destiny?
a message to you.
No
Not
one
only
shoot
is
like
the message not
Gaston.
in
I don't get it.
language, but it also doesn't sound.
Do you know? Remember the song? No one shoots like Gaston. That part of the song. No one something Gaston.
Ah, that one. Okay, yeah.
Here's a sound you'll hear when Bonnie or Chica are
You
right at
idol die hero. I see you can live in it.
Ah.
This only happens after night 3, so you've been with them for a while, so it seems to convey the animatronics' aggression ramping up. But why are they making a sound so reminiscent of backwards human speech? Is there a message encoded in there? Why does it sound so off? If we players had the time to answer these questions we ask, we'd figure out that it is a recording of a person reading an excerpt from Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Similar to animatronics going in the visual Uncanny Valley, sounds like these go in an audio Uncanny Valley, where they're definitely closer to language than any other sound in this library, but they're too distorted for you to recognize who made the words or what they mean. These vaguely vocal sounds are littered throughout Map 1, from quick flickering hallucinations to Night 5's phone call, which is another garbled, lowered passage from Autobiography of a Yogi, talking about how marvelous mechanisms will make lives easier in future generations. Freddy's laughs also count as vaguely vocal sounds. They are slowed down versions of a child laughing.
Oh,
Huh?
that's cool.
Yo, let's go. I want to show you guys something.
How marvelous mechanisms will make lives
Okay, no.
easier in future
Right here.
generations. Freddy's laughs also count as vaguely vocal sounds. They are slowed down versions of a child laughing.
Oh.
That's
Wait, what? Again? What's the explanation?
Freddy's laugh is the slowed down version of the child's laugh.
Freddy's laughs
Wait, what?
also count as
That's
vaguely
creepy.
vocal sounds. They
I
are
haven't
slowed down
even-
versions of a child laughing.
Oh, that's not-
Scott, you big man. You have. Oh yeah,
Oh my
Scott.
God.
No. Big one.
Hmm?
Scott has grown so much. He now has a game on PS4.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He's coming. Oh my god, he's grown so much since I. Did you know? Iqbal, back when I was a kid, I would always go to his website to check any Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I just go to scottcotton.com and there's some Easter egg on the website maybe. Assalamualaikum. Uber for Reinhardt.
Both tanks after me.
Delicious food.
I'm gonna die.
If don't eat frog.
Help, Reinhardt.
Mister, keep running.
I know, I'm running.
I got you.
You're on my point though. I wanna go to the right. To the moment.
Go, Vista, go. I'll protect. Just keep going.
Body block.
Yes.
Left.
Yeah. Let's take this stuff.
Oh, let's go.
Go, Vista, keep going. I'll body block.
Dumb idiot,
Yes!
dumb
Yes!
idiot, dumb idiot. Why you walking to my bullets? I'm a Lucio. Ooh. Come here, monkey.
Oh, you ain't going nowhere.
Come back, the frog. Shit, go back.
Ding.
They're here.
Ding.
Help Reinhardt. Somebody needs to help Reinhardt.
Good job, Eman.
Got him on the trap.
Y'all hear something? Woo! Jackpot.
She's flying monkey.
When I'm 90, you're the one.
Dead.
Damn.
He's right on me.
Help.
Free. Dead. Vista, come down.
He was just trying to run.
What you want, cuz? What you want? I gotta stop streaming here. I'm lagging.